I will be very brief because I think what the webinar was labeled is it a hit, or I think it's important for us to be a little more nuanced, because we read many documents, and so as a professor I like to be critical. That is one of my mind is a very critical mind. So I'm going to use that mind to bring out some of the things, and I'll go through it very quickly because I would want the membership to speak. So I start by talking about lest we forget. We shouldn't forget the tension that preceded BBI and remember the swearing in of the NASA leader in January 2018. BBI is about politics, and I think we need to ask ourselves, what is the state of play, of women's play in Kenya's politics currently? I don't think there's anything to quarrel with BBI. The first report had taken away the 47 seats, and I think those have been taken away, but I think some changes have been made, as we have seen in the proposed amendments. And the questions that I am posing is, do the proposed changes that we have seen warrant a constitutional overhaul? 78 amendments is a lot. And my question is, must we dismantle the constitutional architecture to achieve a largely political agenda? And I'm saying that the Constitution of Kenya 2010 is only 10. It has not even become an adolescent. It is still a baby. Have we done all we could do with it? Have we taken stock of what we have and what we will lose? When you do quick amendments, you may discover that these went with a deluge you didn't notice. When you bring down parts of a house, I'm just giving an analogy here, of a house with a firm foundation and add new parts, there is need for sound architectural advice. Is BBI based on sound architectural advice? What is the overall ideology informing the 78 amendments? My own assessment of BBI is that it has goodies for everybody. What's not to love about all these things that we have? But this goes against when you negotiate a constitution, there is give and take. And in fact, it's in the give and take that you decide that you must see this for others to have it. I see it as a poisoned chalice for women. And I think one of the issues when they were talking about, it was very contested whether governors should have a deputy governor who is a woman, and they adopted this terminology, shall consider. And the question is, what is that? Can you take it to the bank? And the animosity towards women for being top-up will make them be the face of Mzigo. Remember, the reason the 47 seats have gone from National Assembly is because people were opposed to those 47 seats. Can you imagine what will happen? Look, let's go 5-6 years from now, top-up women. There are sunset clauses, yes, because they say these affirmative action provisions will end at a particular time. But there are no mechanisms to ensure that gender parity will have been achieved. We are walking the same road we walked with the Independence Constitution, mutilating the Constitution and patching it up. Foundational issues have not been addressed, in my view. We are really strengthening the presidency. If you remember what we talked about, what we wanted to address was winner take all. But now the president is going to be the one who appoints the prime minister, not so Winnie. So what's the difference? And remember, when we negotiated the 2010 constitution, we wanted to move away from the imperial presidency. Now the president is very, very strong. And in my view, I think the referendum will go through if the politicians have their way. In fact, if you look at what already is happening, the horse may already have bolted. So women have to begin asking themselves, what is our game plan if the system does not deliver? As I am almost sure it will not, and there will be no accountability. The problem, in my view, is not lack of laws. It is a failure to abide by the laws. It is a failure to implement what they provide for. It is a failure to respect court decisions when contests over laws are determined. And finally, I just think that BBI is just using the Constitution as a convenient medium. You know, we really like constitutions, but we don't have the ethos of what the late Okoth Ogendo called constitutionalism. We don't have fidelity to the principle that the exercise of state power must seek to advance the ends of society. We struggle for optimal balance between those with power and those for whose benefit power is to be exercised. And I seem to be very pessimistic because I'm saying it's like we have agreed. Let us just have an unequal society. Because you see, if we are expanding the executive, and at that point we can't agree to the 2/3 gender rule, who tells you that we are going to agree to the top up to the 2/3 gender rule in the parties? Who are the party owners? So basically, gender, generation, socioeconomic, we put things there, but how does the whole mosaic work to deliver? So we like these constitutions as documents that are good to show to people and to say we really followed the process. We even went to the people. We got how many signatures? They provide legality. So we will have passed laws. But, and they may also provide coerced legitimacy that people will have signed. But whether they understand what they are signing or not is another matter. We are unwilling to do what the Constitution requires of us. And I think one of the things as women we have to be wary of is the big man syndrome, which is a relic of patriarchy. When you look at the key drivers of BBI, where are women? And this, in my view, is a huge barrier to constitutionalism. And when I wrote my higher doctorate, I was talking about contending norms in a plural legal system. And I think this big man syndrome is a contending norm that trumps even constitutional norms.